Hey guys, and welcome to the Billy Rickman Show. And today I've got a very special guest, Brigitte Benge. Now, Brigitte was one of the pioneers and founders of Salon Coaching and Consulting. She's been in this industry doing it for like a long time, knows so much about everything, and I was lucky enough to have her on the show today to talk business, salon growth, leadership management, and all things salon success. Tune in. This is the Billy Rickman Show. Welcome everybody to episode number 91 of the Billy Rickman Show podcast. And today I've got one of my fast developing favorite people in the world, because she keeps giving me all these amazing compliments about how young I look, which I'm never going to say no to. And also because we actually spoke for the very first time, maybe about 2 months ago, when I spoke to her about the Salon Growth Con event I've got coming up, and wanted her to be one of my keynote speakers. And Brigitte, who you're going to be introduced to in a second, said to me, why don't we have a Zoom call first and just say hello, and we'll talk and see what things are. Immediately we hit it off. We totally get each other, totally on the same wavelength, totally have the same energy. The only difference being that Brigitte has been doing it for a lot longer than me, not to say about age or anything, but more about experience. And Brigitte was one of the pioneers in the industry for business coaching, business mentoring, motivation, and literally paved the way for people like me to come along and try to recreate what she has spent 20 years doing. And so officially, welcome to the podcast, Brigitte Benge. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. What a really nice introduction. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. It does show my age, but that's okay. There's actually, I figured out you're young enough to be my son.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a little bit daunting on me, but anyway, thanks again. Thanks. It was a great introduction, and if I've done that for you, I'm really pleased. Like, that's why
you've done that not just for me, but I honestly remember when I first started getting into growing my franchise business, and people were like, "Oh, if you want to get well known in the industry, you need to reach out to Brigitte Benge." And I remember sitting on the balcony of a friend's house, and we were talking about this, and I was like, "Who's Brigitte Benge?" Like, "Oh, everyone knows Brigitte Benge." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Who's Brigitte Benge?" So we went online. I was like, "Okay." And that was a long time ago. That was probably a long time ago. It's probably maybe like 6-7 years ago, maybe. And I've always wanted to have
my books.
Yeah, well. So for those people listening in on the podcast, because there's a video of this will be uploaded onto YouTube. It's also, we're going to grab the audio and put it onto the podcast. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you check the video on YouTube, because you'll be able to see Brigitte in the flesh, in person, and see that she definitely does not look like she could be my mum. But I do want to go back, if we can, because we've got maybe like 20 minutes to talk today. I try to keep my podcast short and sharp, to the point, high energy, high impact, high value. So we've got about 20 minutes today, but it is so important that people get a good perspective of who you are, what you've done, because you have just delivered for so many years. So let's take it back. How did it all start for you?
Thank you. Okay, so let me tell you, my background is not beauty. So I'm not a beauty therapist. My background is business. I have a marketing degree, and I started in the advertising world, and of course went through a midlife crisis when I realized I didn't want to trade time for money, and I didn't want a nanny to raise my son, as that what was happening. So I wanted to open up my own business. And what I really wanted to do was to coach the beauty industry for no other reason other than the beauty industry was a hobby of mine, something that I believed in. I come from a French background, and the French look after their skin like brushing their teeth. Right? I mean, it's second nature. I've been looking after my skin ever since I was 9 years old. My mother had me on skincare from a very young age. And so I'm very passionate about the industry. And so I wanted to coach it, but I believe that you can't truly coach someone or a niche if you haven't yourself succeeded in it. I think it's a little bit tricky to tell people in an industry what to do if you yourself haven't worked in that industry, which is why I decided to open up salons before I coached. So I wanted to prove the point, especially that I wasn't a beauty therapist, and I wanted to I wanted to grow a business from the perspective of a business owner, not from a beauty therapist who's constantly working in her business. So I thought So I thought, how long is that going to take? 5 years? Well, no, Billy. It took about 15, just under 15 years to figure this whole industry out. And
overnight success.
Yeah, it happened overnight with 15 years before. So that's what happened. So I opened up, in total 3 salons. They were very high performing salons. So not just high performing in terms of dollars, like we got lots of money coming in, but it was high performing in terms of results. Like we were booked out 2 to 3 weeks in advance, and we had really loyal clients coming in every single month. People came for skin regimes and they kept to it and they bought the retail. So it was all about that big education process and making sure that we don't just treat a client one appointment and that's it, put up a promotion and they come back. No, not at all. It was about paving the way for clients to understand that skin it's not a one-trick pony. To look after your skin, it's a commitment for life. So what I really believe in is that we should really communicate to our clients that you're going to start a skincare regime today and it's going to go on forever. Like it's not today because it's a good deal. It's today and on forever. So the whole idea was to make sure that we created that business. I very, very rarely, if any, maybe I did 1 or 2 ads in that whole 15 years to try to get new business. We never tried to get new business because we had retention. We had clients staying and then they referred us. And we were known for a results-driven salon, right? Yeah. So it was about understanding the strategy. So since then, and moving into coaching the industry, which was, I started just over 12 years ago, it was all about teaching salon owners that it's just not about the relaxation or the quick treatment. It's about getting a client to enroll in what we're doing forever so that we don't have to constantly do these, promotions that you're virtually giving away your firstborn, right? It's all about having retention. So
and about the expectation at the start, right, with the client.
Yeah, right from the get-go. So when a client rings me and wants me to help them with bringing in new business, I say, I'm not the coach for you, because bringing in new business is really easy. It's retaining them. That's the challenging part. So I'm much more interested in retention strategies than constantly going out there and giving people new business strategies. Because if you have new business strategies and you can't hold them, what's the point? Right?
100%. It's the leaky bucket metaphor, isn't it? It's like, great, you've got 4 hoses pouring into the top, but you've got these gaping holes in the bottom of your bucket. Your business isn't growing, you're leaking. It's like,
that's exactly it.
And I guess when you said before you had the clients booked up 2 weeks in advance, that's when you actually got all your holes plugged up. You've still got those hoses coming in and you're actually at the top of the bucket. And the only way you can go to grow your business, if you choose to, is to get a new bucket.
That's absolutely right. That is absolutely right, which is exactly what I coach people to do now. You want to grow, you extend what you already have, but you first make sure that what you have is spot on. Make sure that your therapists are working to the highest possible performance.
Right, and I wrote a blog about this I think it was about a week ago, 10 days ago. It was the 7 things to look out for when going from a single site to multi-site business or salon. And the reason I'm so able to write that is because I did it all the wrong way. Like I had a business that was pretty good and then I grew. And pretty good isn't cutting it when you're growing. Like you have to make sure it's systemized, it's optimized, it's training is in place. All your treatments are done properly to the right standards. Like every single area of your business has to be thought of to so much small detail, and then get ready to grow. Otherwise, you do what I did, and I grew way too quickly and lost a lot of money from it. Then recovered, luckily, but it's so important.
Actually, so what you've really learned from there, and when people say to me they want to grow, they want to have multi-sites, I say we do one at a time. We get that one right, because that second one, we could actually do the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth at the same time. When you get the first one right, if we could just take 12 months to get that right, I will still give you your 6 salons in 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll have the formula and we'll just duplicate it. So no doubt you've read the book, The E-Myth. Have you read the book E-Myth by Michael Gerber?
Yeah.
That's exactly, I have to tell you, I'll be really honest, it was his book that got me thinking to getting into coaching, because I truly believe that it's all about systemization and duplication and scalability.
Right, so let's talk about that if we can, because one of the things I'm most passionate about, and you and I had a discussion about this the other day, it's really a good segue into it. And I'm sure you won't mind me being frank, because we ended up with a certain outcome that I think we both understood. So I'm sure you won't mind it. If you do mind it, I'll get someone to edit it out. Oh, it'll be fine. So you posted in your group about SalonGrowthCon 2019 coming up. And then I've been sending you some promotional material about it. And my sister phoned you up the other day and you had a conversation with her and saying, I just don't know if I can promote this event too much to my audience because there's skin clinics and a lot of them are coming back to me saying, yeah, but I don't want to go because it's a hairdressing event. And I had to talk, we had a conversation about it. I was like, no, it's not a hairdressing event. You went, oh, it's a skin event. No, it's not a skin event. Is it a beauty event? No, it's not a beauty event. It's a business event for people in the hair, beauty, and salon, spa, health and wellness industry. And it's something I created this event specifically for that reason, because you're talking about the email, because there's so many technicians in the industry. You know, I'm 17 years of age. I've left school. I've gone into a beauty salon, a small salon. I'm amazing at doing Brazilian waxes. From there, I went to facials. I'm an awesome facialist. I'm the best retailer in the salon. My boss promotes me to a manager. I manage the salon for 12 months. Look at myself, the numbers coming and go, I can make some money out of this doing it myself. I go and then own my own business. 6 months in, I'm still doing Brazilian waxes. I'm still doing facials. I'm still selling at retail, but my staff aren't looked after. My training isn't in place. My financials aren't up to date. I'm drowning. And this is what I see time and time again in this industry. It doesn't matter whether it's hair, beauty, skin, spa, massage, yoga, gym. There's so many people who are amazing at what they do, but have very little idea when it comes to businesses and systemization. And so bringing in the...
Let me add to that. So when we ask people, and I'm sure you've gone through the same thing as me, when we ask people, why did you want to open up your business in the first place? The most common answer is, I want more money, I want more time, and I want a better lifestyle. Right. And what is actually happening is you've never made less money, you've never had less time, and you've never had such a terrible lifestyle. And what I say is, if you really love doing hands-on treatment, if you're so passionate about that, then you are better off working for somebody else who gives a very high commission on high performance, because you won't have any stress associated with building a business. If people want to own businesses, they really shouldn't want to work in the business. They should want to be entrepreneurs. They should want to be able to fulfill the dream of more money, more time, and a great lifestyle. And you can't do that if you're a beauty therapist in your own salon, right? So for my clients, everything I want to do is get them off the floor. And at most, for hobby's sake, you can do 5 hours a week, just for the sake of the fact that you love it. But but also you've got to remember, you've also got to get them hands-on, because a lot of the time they're working on their business, they're training. So they're still working with their hands, but they're training their team as opposed to working with a client.
Yeah,
right?
And it's such an important message, but something that some people just, I swear to God, if you're watching this on the video, you'll be able to see what I'm about to do. If you're not, then watch the video. If you're listening to the podcast, then just try to imagine. Like, this is, I swear to God, this is what some people, or do when you say that to them. They just sit there with their hands up and say, la, 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 la. Like, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that you're a business owner now. You have to stop focusing on the trade, because they just love the trade so much. And I can't agree with you more on that, where you just think that if you love the trade so much and you're not passionate about business. I did a podcast on this probably 6 episodes ago. When is the time to know you need to sell your business? And the same reason, like if you genuinely don't love your business and being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, then there is nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment from me or you or anybody, but do the things you love. But if you want to have a successful business, you've got to love business, because it's hard these days.
Absolutely. But that's what you're doing. If you want a business, then you have to operate like a business owner, like an entrepreneur, not a technician, as we said from the email, right? That's the whole idea. But people think that becoming a business owner, you make more money. Well, yes, you do if you work on the business, but not if you work as a beauty therapist. And I think that that's what people don't actually get. And so we have to put on that entrepreneurial mindset, or that entrepreneurial hat, to really understand that the only way I'll make the big money is if I work on the systems, the training, the marketing, all the back end stuff. Now, I was really successful in my business, but Billy, I never worked a minute in it. Thank God I couldn't, because I wasn't a beauty therapist. I didn't want to touch clients. I didn't want to do the treatment. And I remember when the girls sometimes were running late, they'd say to me, "Oh, Brigitte, can you just take the polish off or the eyelash tint off?" I go, no. And they go, "Why not? Anybody can do it." I go, "Because the day I touch a client is the day I stop working on my business."
That's poison, isn't it?
Yeah, we just have to work out the problem of running late. Right?
Yeah. So, Brigitte, let me ask you. I'm a salon owner, and I know you focus on skin. I know that's your niche. That's what Brigitte Benge is known for. That's your business. We'll talk about your business in a second. But I think the same principles apply. So I'm just going to throw a curveball at you. I'm going to throw you outside of your niche. I'm a hairdresser.
Yep.
I'm cutting hair for a living, and I want to get off the floor. I believe it's the same principles, the same things you have to do. So tell me, what would the 3 things be that you would say to get started with to get off the floor?
Okay, so you're absolutely right, Billy. It's exactly the same principle. And pretty much what I teach really goes for any industry, any service industry, right? It will apply. But it's just my choice to have focused on the beauty industry so I can dive deeper. But of course, all the theories and all the concepts and strategies are the same. So if somebody really wants to grow their business and they're a hairdresser, they need to master leadership and leadership of their team and management of their business, right? So how do I lead a team? How do I hold my team accountable? How do I train them to high productivity? And if there's not high productivity, what am I going to do about it? What conversations I'm going to have? What more training am I going to give them? How am I going to support them into getting to the high productivity? Because as a hairdresser, one person like you is better off teaching 5 girls to reach high productivity than they themselves only reaching high productivity, right? So that's the example I give people. You know, you might be a great therapist and you might produce $2,000 a day. That's $10,000 a week. Well, what if you could get 5 therapists to produce $2,000 a day? We're talking now $50,000 a week. And you don't have any time in the business. You're not tied to the cash register at all because you train when you want. You work on the business when you want. So that's the whole concept. And that will apply to a hairdresser, an optometrist, a doctor. It's exactly the same thing. It's the concept of scalability. But none of that can happen if you don't have great systems. So I had a policies and procedures manual, and I remember saying to my girls when I wasn't there, and for the last 5 years I wasn't there, I said, you can only call me if 2 things happen. 1, the salon's on fire. 2, it's not in the policies and procedures manual. And
which holds you accountable to make sure you have everything in the policies and procedures manual. Otherwise, you get calls.
Everything is in the manual. But if you call because it's not, great. I'll know that the minute I hang up, I have to put it in the manual because it's a work in progress, right? A PMP is a work in progress. Right? So that's how my business ran. And I managed for about 5 years to cross over being a coach and having a salon because the whole salon was completely systemized. There was a way of doing things. There was a way to answer the phone. There was a way to represent the business. I always reminded the girls that they were representing me. You know, they had to represent me with integrity. And when there's integrity and productivity, you have a great business, a business that's saleable, right? Yeah,
perfect. And so do you think, though, I always talk about this moment when people go, yeah, that's great. Okay, so Brigitte told me this is what I need to do. I just need to, you know, start working on the business and whatnot. And I guess it gets to that point where it's like, when do I do it? And always my answer is as soon as possible. And then I speak to them like a month later. I'm like, have you done it yet? No, I haven't done it. Because it does get to a moment where you just have to take a leap of faith. You just have to trust the Brigitte Benges out there who are telling you that this is what you need to do to go from $10,000 a week to $50,000 a week. You have to start to work on your business. And there's always going to be that self-doubt that, can I do it? I'm not good enough. I don't have the skill set. I don't know about business. I don't know enough. all of those things are going to run through your mind. But until you actually just close your eyes and just take a step forward and go, I'm going to do it. That's it. I'm off the floor. I'm not doing treatments. I'm going to work on the business. And you're steadfast with that decision, then you can always just keep getting sucked back in. You have to take that leap. You have to cross over that line and go, that's it. From today onwards, that's it. I'm working on the business.
Okay. I agree with that, Billy, because it's like we're going around in a merry-go-round and it's going so fast, we can't get off. You've got to get off. At some point, you've got to take that leap and jump off this very fast merry-go-round, get a little bit hurt, like you might skin your knees, get a little bit hurt, you'll be okay, right? You'll be okay. But having said that, Billy, we have to be very realistic that some people's cash flow fully depends on what the business produces. So if 70% of a business is brought in, the revenue is brought in by the owner, then she can't afford to drop that cash flow. So then we transition it. So we say, we work to a timeline and we go, okay, when am I going to be off the floor completely? Well, it's February the 12th. I am going to be off the floor by 30th of September, and then work backwards. So by next month, how many hours do I need to drop? By the following month, how many hours, to the point that we get to nothing, right? So I understand that, and a lot of people are going to say, well, I can't. I depend on the money. Sure, fine. But we've got to go one direction. So if you're on the floor 40 hours, then next month we're on the floor 32 hours, then 26 hours, then 20. And we just keep going to the point that you're never there, right? But it doesn't take long to get there. Like, it really doesn't take long. And all the while you're maintaining the cash flow, which you need obviously to run, to pay for the bills, to pay for the wages and everything that goes with it. So it's just transition, but the transition has to be made. You've got to get off that merry-go-round, because it's just spinning. Just keep spinning.
Yeah. And eventually you're going to get too dizzy and you'll throw up and you'll die.
Exactly. Who wants to throw up and die?
Yeah. So before we finish up, because I could talk to you about this subject forever, and I think we could both talk about it because we're so bloody passionate about making it happen with people. Because I mean, I've seen it, you would have seen it a lot more because you've been doing it for a lot longer, but I have seen people make that transition. I did a podcast, the last 2 episodes, I think, of the podcast. I did a part 1 and part 2 about one of my clients who went from making $27,000 a month, now is trying to target $100,000 a month within 12 months, simply because she made the decision to get off the floor. I mean, there's detail and strategy in that, but by and large, that was the overall overarching strategy. And so I think that's why we're so passionate. So you and I can talk about this all day. But quickly, before we do wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about, firstly, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about your business, because it's an incredible business and you do so much great work for people. So I certainly would not be, I would be amiss if I didn't, remiss to not talk about your business. But secondly as well, obviously, you're going to be a speaker at the biggest and greatest hair and beauty event ever at SalonGrowthCon 2019. In fact, I think you are the first cab off the rank after Amanda Gore. So if you don't know Amanda Gore is, she's amazing. It was funny, I went and watched, I went to a digital marketing conference on the Gold Coast maybe 6 months ago, and I sat there all day. It was a great conference, and I sat there all day and watched speaker after speaker after speaker. And at the end of the day, there was Amanda, and I'm not going to say her age, but you know, she's an older lady and stuff, and I'd never heard about it. And I was like, okay, cool, what's this lady got to talk about? And she came on stage with this like bundle of energy, just rambling at the start. And then she started doing these things. She got everyone interacting and talking to each person next to her, doing all this really cool stuff. And by the end of her presentation, everyone was up in the aisles, just like dancing and singing and jumping around and stuff. It was phenomenal. And then so when I did Salon GrowthCon, I was like, I have to have her at my event. So I got Amanda Gore, and so she's the opening speaker because she's just all about like just feeling great. And so she's going to set the tone. And I think you are the very first business speaker straight after Amanda. So let's talk a little bit about Cream first, and then afterwards I want you to tell everybody what they would expect to see when they come and watch you speak at Salon GrowthCon 2019 on the Gold Coast, June 15 and 16.
Okay. All right. Well, just very briefly, I'll tell you very briefly about Cream. Cream is about growing businesses from the inside out. So it's growing businesses with strategy. It's about learning how to, as I said, lead your team, manage your people, and manage the business and manage growth. So it's not about wanting constantly new clients. It's about retaining new clients. So I have 3 major programs. I have, do you want me to tell them what it is? No?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
No. Okay, so there's the Leadership and Management Academy. That's a course just for the business owners. Then there is a High Performance Therapist Academy, which is teaching the therapists to get to high performance. So they're 2 totally separate signature courses. And then beyond that, I have a monthly membership that people can get ongoing support. But as I said, it's all about growing the business from inside out. What I do want to say about SalonCon, and I'm so pleased that I spoke to you last week, is because you really are doing something very extraordinary, very brave. Like, you're doing something that's really brave. Nobody's done it in the industry before. And I'm sure many wanted to, including me, by the way. And we didn't have, the courage to do it. So it's taken a guy like you to do it. And for everybody to fully understand, this is all about business concepts for service industries. That's what it's about. If you sell retail and you sell services, then this is the ideal conference for you. And I've done a little bit of background on the speakers, and I can see that everybody's got something rich to share with us that is not necessarily related to skin or hairdressing, nails, or whatever. It's a business conference. And I think I'm so pleased that I've got that clear now. And I really hope that people take this really seriously and make the effort to come, because the speakers are really going to be able to show that it's all about strategy and business. It's not about the next promotion, right? We need to leave that, to the pharmacies and the supermarkets that get up there and say, half price this, half price that. No, it's all about growing businesses to get the financial freedom that they want. And so I really do hope that you sell out. I really do, Billy, because I think you've done an amazing, brave thing, and you're going to set the pace for the industry moving forward. And we need some young blood like you, right? We need some young blood like you.
I told everybody at the start, this is why you're my favourite person. You keep throwing one-liners like that.
Yeah.
Out of anything, I'll get my video guy, who'll his name's Jordan. He'll grab sound bites out of this and use it. I think that's the sound bite. Just you them saying, for young blood like you, that's all that we'll take out of it.
Well, compared to some of the other people that are coming, including me, you're a spring chicken. But, it's important.
What are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about leadership and management, right? So I'm going to talk about leading your team and how to lead your team into high performance, no matter what you're doing. Whether you do hair, whether you do skin, it's about teaching people to take pride in what they do. We want to teach them that it's a career that they chose. It's not a job. It's not like waitressing. This is a career path, and that we want to teach people to be better and want more for themselves. Because for me, I have financial incentive programs that I share with my salons that I say to therapists, think of yourself as a business within a business. You come in, here's your wage. But if you reach this level of productivity, this is how much more you get. If you reach this level, this is how much more you get. So if you want a wage rise, work it. Take advantage of all the training that the salon offers you and want to grow, because that's how you're going to grow your wealth. My therapists were earning way more than their wage in the old days because of their high performance, because I could afford it. We can't afford to pay therapists more. So here, if you're a beauty therapist, hear me. Your boss can't afford to pay you more unless you make more, right? The minute you start making more, the more money she has in the reserves to pay you more. And so incentive programs are all tied to productivity to make it affordable for the owner and generous for the therapist.
Yeah.
So that's what hopefully I'm going to impart with you guys, to really get people to truly understand how to lead their team to that. And if they can't, because the team member doesn't want to participate, how to let go.
Yeah.
Because there comes a time that if you have a culture and a team member doesn't participate in that culture, then you have to say goodbye for both of your sakes, not just for yours, but for the therapist's sakes. So I hope that, you'll get the best out of my leadership and management program. And I think we'll have a lot of fun. And I really do believe that people are going to get a lot out of this. I'm really excited now.
I'm excited. And you're going to be at the cocktail event on Saturday night as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
We'll make sure we have a champagne or a wine on standby. What's your drink of choice? Do you have a drink of choice or
Champagne.
champagne? All right, we'll get some champagne on ice for you. Yeah, nice. But all that being said, Bridget, I'm not just saying this because you're staring at me now and you're if I didn't say it. I genuinely mean it. I could talk to you all day because I'm unbelievably grateful of everything you've achieved in the industry and like I said, paved the way for people like me to come along and to create events like this and do what I do. And there's so many people in the industry who look up to you and have just followed you for so long and who would listen to this podcast and just really reinforce them what an amazing woman you are. And so thank you very much for that. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. Thank you for being part of SalonGrowthCon 2019. And for everybody who is watching or listening right now, if you haven't got your ticket yet, I'll put it up on the screen. Make sure you go to salongrowthcon.com/the-details. And there you'll see all the list of speakers, all the events, all the scheduled events. We now have 23 keynote speakers, including some roundtable presenters as well, who are just going to give amazing advice and amazing content for you to immediately take back into your business and use straight away. And I can't wait for it. June 15, 16. If you haven't got your tickets, go get your tickets yet. Brigitte Benge, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Can I just say a last thing? Honestly, get your tickets now. Make sure that you secure your tickets now than later, because if you can say, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, and later never comes, and then you'll miss out. I can really see this is really going to book out for you. I can see it. So if you don't want to miss out, just get it over and done with. Book it now, and you know you've got your tickets.
Fantastic. Awesome. And I didn't even have to pay her to say that. Thanks, Bridget.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care. I'll chat to you soon.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bridget, bye-bye. Hey guys, if you love this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And also, if you have not yet got your tickets for Salon GrowthCon 2019, make sure you do. Go to the link that's in the description below because I do not want you to miss out on this amazing event.